Hello, welcome to House of Harmony. Hi guys, welcome back to House of Harmony. My name is Madison, and today what I actually want to talk about is an experience that I had been going through for the last couple of weeks. And this experience is called anger. All right, so I am a person who is not an angry person, to say the least. I find anger to be an emotion that I rarely ever experience, particularly over the last few years, 4 or 5 years, that I have been on my spiritual journey and have been really actively working on myself and working through the things I need to clear and process and move through to get to where I ultimately want to be. And I had found myself probably since the beginning of March at a place where I was experiencing this emotion, this feeling that I connect to as anger. And it seemed to have been coming from no direct source. It seemed to be coming from a place that I couldn't really grip onto logically. And I don't know, it was something that, like, I would wake up in the morning and immediately it was this tinge. There was a tinge to everything, or the thoughts that I had, or the particular images I was conjuring up while using my imagination, had this tinge of sensitivity to it, to the point where I was going into the office, going into the studio and trying to get stuff done, and the littlest things would just trigger me to a point where I was just, as I would like to call, a little gremlin around people, my friends, people that I interact with on a daily basis at the studio, and just everyone in general, including myself. I think that was the biggest thing, is that I was just angry at myself as well. So anyways, over the past 2 weeks or so, I was dealing with this anger that seemed to be sourcing from, I don't know, something that was not a particular clear experience that I'd went through that seemed to be the catalyst. However, I did start to notice that this anger was building because of the little things in my life that I had chosen to focus on. And what I mean by that is that the particular perspective that I chose when I focused on something in a particular facet of my life, meaning my singing career, or my financial state, or the types of relationships that I was involved in, basically the things that are important in my life. I was starting to focus, or starting to maintain a perspective of lack in those things. So when I had this tinge of anger and these the choices that I was making in focusing on the things that I didn't have in my life, the things that seemed to be my shortcomings, or the things that seemed to be unmanifested desires, I found myself in a soup of just not being able to deal with people. And it got to a point where I, last week, was attending a channeling session, and the question that I asked was about this anger that I was dealing with at the time. And I explained to them, I said, I don't know where specifically this anger is coming from. However, I realize, and I do know, that it's not stemming from a particular experience in this lifetime. And so they gave me the answer of this anger stemming from, past lifetimes, where you had told the truth, where you were right in your perspective, but no one was listening to you. And to me, yes, it aligns with my belief systems in past life, and that our lifetime right now, our soul journey right now is integrating those unresolved things that we had experienced or carried with us in our past lifetimes. And so that was all fine and dandy, but I think the biggest realization I walked away from last week after being with myself and going within and exploring this with that information is that my anger seemed to be compounded and seemed to grow from my own belief system that I carry around. And it's not active all the time, but sometimes it is. And this particular belief system is that I don't feel seen. And I think this is a really big belief that is common in almost everyone. And I think it is such a real, practical, but profound realization that people who go through the same experience of feeling angry and frustrated at the world is that they just don't feel seen. And when I came to this realization about this being true in this lifetime, what I'm going through right now, is that anger subsided, and that anger turned into a calmer a calmer feeling of relief. Because I feel like when I had that realization that I felt like I wasn't being seen, is that I let go of a lot of the resistance I was carrying around over the last couple of weeks about where I was in my life and where I wanted to be, and being hard on myself, but also being hard and projecting those feelings of lack and that feeling of not being seen onto other people, when I very much know that it is my choice to carry that belief with me. And even though I am dealing with integrating anger that is sourcing from a past life, a past experience that I don't really logically connect with in this lifetime, it is still my work to understand that it is not my place to try and change people and their perception of me. It is not my place or responsibility to always try and change my own circumstances. But what is the most powerful, or as I like to say, most bang for your buck, is to change my perspective. And so after having these realizations last week and sitting down with myself and really thinking about it, and also having a slight cry session about it, is that I find myself now at a much more peaceful place, because I've let that energy move through me, and I was able to get that stuck energy released from this realization and this letting go of the projection of the anger outward. And when I was thinking about this anger, and I was actually at the T stop, the metro, and I asked myself, okay, what is the answer? What is the anecdote to anger? And immediately, the word that came into my mind was grace. And I sat there and I thought about it, and I thought about grace and what that meant to me. And grace to me is the essence of allowance and the essence to adhere to the higher self, meaning the actions and the thoughts and the energy, the vibration of the higher self, in conjunction with the experience and the playing out of what the lower self needs to play out. Is that grace is the allowance of that, while doing your best in the knowing that you can choose to access the perspective of your higher self, and that you can have this communion of both, which allows the integration to come forth from within, and for that lower self or those lower energies to be resolved and let go of. And then for you to have had the experience of experiencing it from a place of separation, meaning that you stayed in this higher energy, a higher perspective, or higher knowing that everything is going to be okay, and that this too shall pass, and that it's internal work rather than trying to run away from it by projecting it outward, either onto other people or to your external circumstances. And so what I want to walk away from this video with is the sharing that you too, when you are going through a particular experience like anger, whether that's anger sourcing from a specific encounter, circumstance, or experience that you're having, or maybe it's something similar to my experience where it came from a very abstract or illogical place to the physical mind, that grace is a choice that you can tap into. And ultimately, grace is the essence that is going to help you get through these emotions that need to be processed and integrated. And to do it from a place of integrity, do it from a place where you know you are moving into, the person that you know you are expanding into. So I advise you, I recommend that you explore the concept of grace in your own way, and sit down with yourself and feel for, what does it feel like within my own body or energy field to maintain a sense of grace throughout my life, my daily experiences, or even for just like 15 minutes to sit with that energy and see how it can transform the way you are perceiving the lower energies that you're having to deal with at this time, and see how it affects the way that you interact with your external reality. And I think you're going to walk away with a sense of amazement about the choices that you're able to make, or the power that you do have over the way you experience your life. So thank you for listening to this rant. I hope that you will share your own experiences or your own perspective of grace or anger, and become a part of a small community, at least for right now, and know that you are not alone, and that I appreciate you in your own sharing and your own opening up and that vulnerability it takes to be open and honest with yourself, even whether that's in your own room or in an expression with other people. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you like this video, or comment below, or if you want, subscribe. That would be super cool. And I hope to see you again in my next video, and until then, I love you.